Hey, it's Jeff Johnson, the host of Up Your News. Thanks for tuning in to my personal YouTube channel here for just a moment. I want to share with you an update after returning from my one-year follow-up evaluation at MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston. I was sent to see a cardiologist because according to a brief examination 3 months ago and about a week ago, my heart rate was fluctuating between 40 beats per minute and 148 beats per minute and was irregular. What the visit to the cardiologist told me was several things. First of all, this is not a life-threatening condition, which I am very happy about. It is something called premature ventricular contractions, or PVCs, also called palpitations. If you take a look at the screen back here, this is not my EKG. I couldn't get a picture of that. But just quickly, this is a normal heartbeat rhythm right here. You have a beat in the space and a beat in the space and a beat. This thing right here where your heart spikes, where the beat spikes, is a premature ventricular contraction. Now, the ones on my EKG were spiking up toward the top and down toward the bottom. The cardiologist told me that PVCs or palpitations are something that are normal. They happen to everyone. No one's heart beats in a perfect rhythm, always, like a metronome. However, they happen infrequently in normal situations where people are healthy. I'm having a PVC on average 4 times every 10 seconds. That is not normal. And the way the cardiologist described it to me, he said, imagine that you are standing still and then you break into the hardest run you possibly can to go just as fast as you possibly can and stop immediately and then do it again and again and again and do that 4 times in 10 seconds. He said that's what your heart is doing right now. It's trying to race up to a much higher rate and then it's slowing back down. Anyway, he said this is very possibly contributing to my fatigue, which I have been tired perpetually for the last 3 years, particularly going through cancer treatment. But even after that, as I've recovered before the cancer treatment, I was just exhausted all the time. He said this could be genetic. It could be a result of damage from the chemotherapy, or it could be a combination of the two. If it's genetic, that might tend to indicate more so that it does have something to do with the fatigue. If it was caused by the chemotherapy, since the fatigue predated that, it may or may not be contributing to it. But the most important thing is it's not life-threatening, and I'm very excited to hear that news. He has put me on a heart medication. It does 2 things. It's to stabilize my heartbeat, to minimize, it won't totally eliminate, but to minimize the PVCs, to make them not as drastic and to make them not happen as frequently. It also will possibly lower my blood pressure a little bit. My blood pressure was elevated when I was there for the exam. Now, quite frankly, I have what they call white coat hypertension. Whenever I go to the doctor, my blood pressure tends to go up a little bit. It's not the most comfortable environment in the world. They tend to like to stick things places they don't belong, needles in your arm. Use your imagination for the other stuff. And so it always makes me a little nervous. My blood pressure always goes up just a little bit. But I was particularly nervous because since I started talking to my medical friends about my heart rate being such drastic highs and lows, everybody was saying, oh, you've had damage to the system that controls your heartbeat and you're going to have a pacemaker. And so I walked in thinking I was about to hear that I was going to have a pacemaker, and then I heard, more than likely not. The first thing he told me was that you were the second youngest person that I've seen today, and the second thing he told me was you're not going to die. And I was like, man, I love you. Can we hug? But anyway, so where we are from here, I will take this medication for at least a month. During that time, part of the time, I will wear a heart monitor so that they get a longer EKG to look at to see if their short EKG that showed this was happening 4 times, on average 4 times every 10 seconds, to see if that's actually true or if it's not quite that drastic, to see if the medication has had any effect on it, to see if it's reduced it. They'll measure my blood pressure again to see if it's had any effect on my blood pressure. And I will also have an echocardiogram. That's already scheduled. I believe it's for the 24th or 25th of this month. And that's where they do an ultrasound of your heart to look at the physical structure of the heart, make sure that there's no damage, or if there is, identify any damage and what extent, and if there's any treatment that needs to take place. The doctors seem to very strongly believe that this will be controllable with medication, that he can definitely get the PVCs under control, and that there's at least a good possibility that this will help with my fatigue. Now, the lead of my cancer team at MD Anderson did tell me that fatigue is a permanent side effect of this treatment for this particular cancer. When you get radiation to the head and neck, you're going to be tired, and that's not ever going to completely go away. They said, you don't go back to, quote, normal, unquote. There's a new normal. But if this is making the new normal worse than it has to be, hopefully this medication will fix it. So that's the update on my heart. I most definitely appreciate you checking into the channel again. I so much appreciate your comments and questions. And when you even just, like the video, it lets me know you're out there. And hopefully this is helping you. It's just an update. And to let you know, if you are earlier or someone you care about is earlier in the stages of going through head and neck cancer than where I am now, a year post-treatment, this is something that you might encounter. Not to worry about it, just to be aware of it, that it's a possibility. There was a meme posted in one of the cancer support Facebook groups today, and the caption said, I should put it up on the screen, I apologize. The caption said, "You look great." And there was a person standing there with a smile on her face, and she had her hair done. She was wearing a nice, it was a pretty outfit, but casual. But down either side of her body, listed one after another, were all the different side effects, that many of which are permanent, from chemotherapy and radiation, particularly to the head and neck, that you can't see that we're going through. Things like digestive tract problems. They said it a little more crudely than that. But those are things that sometimes they're permanent for cancer patients. And, there was a debate going on about, I don't really feel great. Why are you telling me I look great? And I commented on it. I said, when I first finished treatment, and as I was starting recovery, which was slow and painful and annoying and irritating, and honestly, I thought I was going to die a couple of times. As I was going through that process, people would say that. They would say, "You look great." And it hit me the wrong way. And at first I would, kind of half playfully, half sarcastically, jokingly respond and say things like, "Oh yeah, thanks. When's that optometrist appointment?" Or I would, you mean like great for a guy who almost died 3 times in the last 2 months? And then I realized, first of all, people who have never been through cancer treatment or been the caregiver for someone who's going through cancer treatment have very little concept of what we're living through and what we're going through. They remember before, they saw us before, they may have seen a picture of us or come to visit us at the worst, toward the end of treatment or immediately after treatment, when it was like, is he going to make it? And they see us now. And now is better than at the worst. And so that's part of it. It's a perception thing. It's like when you know someone who is extremely overweight, and then you don't see them for several months, and the next time you see them, they've lost the weight. You don't ask them how they lost the weight. You're just excited for them, and you compliment their appearance, and you say, "Hey man, congratulations, you lost all that weight. You look great." They may have had bariatric surgery. They may have gone through cancer and lost the weight because they couldn't eat. The point being, I was able to shift my perspective, and it was a choice to say, hey, you know what? These folks are trying to be encouraging. They're trying to be positive. They're trying to be nice. They're saying something nice. Reward that. Accept it for what it is as a compliment. Take it. Let it be a positive thing in your day and run with it. And I commented on that, and a lot of folks liked it and said, yeah, really, I shouldn't get mad. I should focus on the positive. And it's not easy. Some days are easier than others. Hey, there are days I get mad. There are days people say things and it really irritates me and I want to call them names and punch them in the throat, which, is rude and illegal. But the point is, start with, I'm alive. And then start listing all the things you can do. And if that doesn't put you in a positive mood, start listing all the things you haven't lost, all the things you still have. I got to go see my daughter perform in a play tonight. We have a 13-year-old daughter, and she loves drama. She loves the theater. And she was in a play tonight. She did an incredible job. I'm not biased at all. I got to see the smile on her face and see her eyes light up when she saw the audience reacting to her delivering her lines. And I'm here to enjoy that. So anyway, looks like the heart problem is a lot less serious than it could have been. No talk of a pacemaker. More than likely, medication is going to get it under control and keep it under control. And a potential side benefit is I may be less fatigued as a result of resolving this issue. So, hey, thanks for checking back in. What I started to say earlier is I really appreciate it when you leave comments or questions. I'm happy to answer your questions, but I'm not a medical professional and I don't want to play one on the internet. So I'll share my experiences with you, but I will not give you medical advice other than if you are experiencing head and neck cancer, I would strongly recommend that you go to the MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston, Texas, or your nearest UT MD Anderson partner cancer center. I personally believe, probably because they saved my life, that they're the best in the world. Anyway, thanks so much. Have a great day, and God bless you.